Got my specs on today. We wear lenses, but got a little bit of a headache. Hence, ditched the lenses for this morning and kept my glasses on. Look a bit extra clever this morning, don't I? Making cheese and onion pasties today. So let's start with the onion. Just grab your chopping board, grab a knife. So you just want to chop your onion into small little cubes. So just get rid of your onion skin. This is how I cut my onion. I know it's not the professional way. You cut it however you cut yours. And you just want to dice your onion, okay? So you dice your onion. So I've diced my onion. So get yourself a knob of butter. There's no measurement for this, okay? Just get yourself a knob of butter in your saucepan. Just a knob of butter into your saucepan. Put it on medium heat. Let the butter melt. I was going to say mutter. Let the butter melt, and then add in your onions, okay? And you just want to saute them a little bit. Once you've melted the butter in the saucepan, then you want to add in your diced onion, and you just want to saute that until it's translucent, okay? It'll take a couple of minutes, but you can use oil instead of butter as well. You don't have to use butter. Okay, I think we're pretty much there with the onions. I'll just show you what they look like. So they go a bit translucent and they've changed colour slightly. Okay, so they're softer and translucent. Okay, so that's all you need. You don't need to cook them fully. So just turn that off. And we're going to transfer the onions into a plate to use later. So I'm going to grab your potatoes once you've done that. And we're going to peel and dice our potatoes into small pieces. So try and cut them as small as possible because we really want these to boil really fast. So I just do that by going this way first. And then you want to cut this way. So really small pieces because we want them to boil really fast. So I'm just going to give the saucepan that we used for the onions just a little rinse. Put your diced potato in your saucepan, okay? We're just going to rinse this a couple of times to get rid of the starch. And then we're going to put water in there and let the potatoes boil. I'm just going to mix it about just so that some of the starch comes off the potato. Okay, so just do that a couple of times. You put enough water in there to cover all your potatoes, and then you're just going to put it on a high heat and let them boil. Now we're just going to grate some cheese just while that's happening because I don't want to waste any time. So yeah, we're just going to grate some cheese now and put it into a bowl to use. There's no specific amount. Just going to grate a little bit now, and then if we need more later, I'll grate some more later into it. Just got a block of cheese that I'm grating. It's mature cheddar. I like the flavour of mature cheddar because it's nice and cheesy. It's nice and salty as well. But you can use different cheeses if you like. Okay, so they're done. A strainer, colander, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just going to drain the potatoes in the sink. So here's my potatoes. I usually cook mine between 180 and 200 depending on what the packet says of the pastry. So that temperature is a good guideline. So let's put it on 200 fan because that's what it says. Preheat your ovens too. You're going to get yourself a knob of butter. Again, no precise measurements for this, just a knob of butter. I'm going to stick it in. A little splash of milk. This will help your mash be a bit creamier. Don't put too much milk in there because then it's going to go too runny, okay? And then you're just going to get your potato masher and literally mash your potatoes up, okay? So literally just a quarter of a teaspoon of salt in there. So about half a teaspoon of crushed black pepper. We're going to go in with those onions that we sauteed earlier. Onion. So you've got your sauteed onions in there as well. And now we're going to add some cheese. Now there's no specific measurement to this either. So I'm just going to add 2 handfuls of cheese. I'm going to mix it in and then I'm going to taste it. And if I feel like it needs more cheese or more seasoning, then we adjust according to that. Okay, so just grab a good handful, 2 handfuls of cheese and put it in and then give it a good mix. Okay, so we mix it in taste your mixture and then adjust according to that, okay? That's your filling ready. So you want to get your ready roll puff pastry, okay, and unroll it. Comes with baking paper underneath, so just leave that baking paper underneath. And we're going to cut this into 8 equal portions. Now the way I like to do that is I'm going to fold my pastry in half. So this makes lines for us, okay? So fold your pastry in half and then press it down to make a fold. Don't think I'm mad. So you folded the pastry in half. Okay, you can't do this if the pastry is sticky, obviously. So you want it to be the right temperature. So I folded it in half and I got a line in the middle. Okay, so then you want to fold this portion, this half, into half again. So you're folding into a quarter. So you want to take the edge and fold it into the middle where you put that line. Press it down. Okay, so that gave us another line there, and that's equal. Okay, and we do the same to the other side. So if your pastry is too sticky to this, then just eyeball it and then cut it into 4 strips. Last thing to do is to get it from the bottom and fold it up again into half and make a line there as well. So that way we have equally portioned our pasties, so every single pasty is exactly the same size. How clever is that? So you just want to get yourself a sharp knife now and then just cut down the lines that you made. So you know that each pasty is exactly equal. You want to fill each pasty with roughly a heaped tablespoonful of mixture, okay? So you got a heaped tablespoon of mixture and just put it on, I'll do it in the middle one so you can see, on one side of your pasty. To do is fold over the top onto the bottom, okay? So fold them over. Oh, they look like this right now. They're not sealed, okay? The filling's inside. So what I'm going to do is push down all the edges just to seal them down. Okay, you can pull on the pastry a little bit as well. So you seal down all the edges and then you get yourself a fork. Now this ready rolled puff pastry is kind of sticky, so you don't really need to put egg or anything underneath to stick them together. However, if you have your pastry and it's kind of dry, then you want to seal the edges with a bit of egg inside before you fold them over, okay? And I just like to get a fork and then just seal all the edges with the fork, okay? So your finished pasty kind of looks like that, okay? So you want to seal them first with your fingers, the edges, and then you want to get yourself a fork and then seal with a fork. These freeze really well as well. So the way you freeze them is basically once they're in this position, you put them on some baking paper and then slot them into the freezer, freeze them for about half an hour, and then you can put them all in one bag or box and then freeze them together like that as well. So they will freeze really well as well. So you can freeze them, and when you want to bake them, you take them out of the freezer, egg wash them and bake them as normal until they're nice and golden brown on top. So we're going to put our pasties on a baking tray, slide them onto my tray because they're already on baking paper. So I'm just going to use the baking paper that came with the pastry. It was underneath the pastry already rolled on. So why waste baking paper? Because you've got baking paper here, just use the same baking. If you're going to use a separate baking paper, just cut the baking paper to the size of your tray and then lay your pasties on your baking paper. So I'm going to attempt lifting mine on just because I'm daring like that. Okay, so I just lifted my pasties and stuck them onto the tray, and again, basically all you need is some baking paper underneath your pasties, okay? The extra baking paper, either fold it underneath or cut it off. Don't put them on your tray right next to each other because they need space to puff up. They will puff up and expand, so make sure you have a gap between each one, roughly 1/2 inch at least between each pasty, okay? Then we want to egg wash them. Off a fork, whisk it up. Get your pastry brush and then brush your egg wash onto top of each pasty. And that's your pasties ready to go in the oven, guys. So they're nice and glazed, got a lovely egg wash on them, and now they roughly take between 20-25, sometimes half an hour. Just basically you want to cook them until the pastry is nice and golden brown on top. Bismillah. There you go. And that's your cheese and onion pasties ready, guys. And that's it from me, guys. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Enjoy the rest of your day.